Hello, my name is Noah Derling, and if you don't know who I am, I'm a certified men's fitness coach who helps men in their 30s to 50s lose belly fat, keep it off while building muscle at the same time, easily and effortlessly, with guaranteed results in no time at all. So in this video, I'm trying to provide a ton of value to all the fathers out there who are really busy working. You have to provide for your family, and it's hard to juggle health, fitness, and working while also spending time with your family. But you want to lose 30, 50, maybe even 80 pounds so that you can be there for them, be a fantastic role model, feel good about yourself, look fantastic, and you just want to be healthy. So let's jump straight into it. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, this is pretty common advice, but what you want to do is you want to meal prep. If you haven't heard of meal prepping before, all it is batch cooking healthy foods that you can grab on the go. And so what this does for you is, number one, it allows you to eat healthy foods while you're on the go. It saves you time because you can do it all at once, all in one batch. And we all know leftovers are super convenient. So all you're doing is you're just making a giant amount of leftovers, essentially, for yourself in the future. And another big benefit is you can track your calories and protein by meal prepping. So you section out how much food you're going to eat in a given meal. Typically it's in like plastic Tupperware, but you know how many calories there are in this, how much protein there is in this. So you don't need to worry about tracking it. You just know this is in this and has this much of this thing, and it helps you lose weight because you can keep track easier. So how can you effectively meal prep? The first step is to create food that's high volume. When you're losing weight, you don't want to be feeling hungry. The feeling of being hungry while dieting sucks. Nobody likes that. So what you want to do is you want to create foods that are high volume. You want to be able to eat a lot of foods. Basically, eat as much food as you can within the amount of calories you're able to have in a given meal. The reason is because when you're more full, you're less likely to have cravings or eat things you're not supposed to, and it's just a more enjoyable dieting experience. The second thing is you want it to be high protein, kind of for the same reasons as before, keeps you more full, more satiated. And not only that, but while you're dieting, you can tend to lose muscle if you don't eat enough protein. So eating enough protein will allow you to not only keep muscle, but also build muscle at the same time while you're losing fat, and it keeps you fuller for longer. Number three, you want it to be low calorie. If you have high volume amount of food, but it's high in calorie, it's counterproductive to your goals. So you want it to be high volume, high protein, but also low calorie so that you can essentially eat more of it and it doesn't affect your goals as much. And number four, you want it to be ideally easy to make. You don't want there to be a ton of steps after you're done technically meal prepping. You want it to be very simple. And most times you just want to be able to throw it in the microwave and have it ready for you. And I guess kind of a bonus, number five, is you want it to taste good, because food that tastes good ultimately helps you stick to your diet better. So I actually used to be overweight myself. I was 40 pounds overweight. But one of the biggest things that helped me lose weight actually was meal prepping. And the reason for this is because I was very busy at the time when I was losing weight. I had school, I had sports, I was also working at the same time. I had a lot of things going on. And if I hadn't meal prepped, I wouldn't have been able to eat the same healthy foods that I was eating while I was meal prepping. So meal prepping definitely helped me lose that 40 pounds. So number two, if you prefer to grab food on the go, then what you want to do is you want to follow what's called the fuel protocol. Now, what the fuel protocol is it's essentially a method that helps you decide what kind of foods you should grab while you're on the go. Sometimes you're busy or you prefer to not pack a lunch and you're in a rush. So the fuel method can help you when you're out and about and keep you on track with your goals. Fuel method is an acronym, and the F stands for focus on protein. This is very similar to our earlier tip, but this doesn't mean to grab fried chicken or fatty beef sticks, but it means to focus on protein for the same reasons we shared earlier. It will fill you up, and it is not very high in calories because it's lean. So typically when I go out and I'm looking for food, what I will do is I'll look at a food and I'll say to myself, does this get me closer to my goals, or does it pull me further away from my goals? And typically this means I'm grabbing a high protein, low calorie option, or, if I'm about to train, then I'll typically grab some carbs. But for the most part, it tends to be lean, protein oriented meals. So moving on to U, that stands for unprocessed options. You want to go for these. Now I'm going to kind of go on a side tangent here because this is some very valuable advice. So listen up. It's a little bit more nuanced and a little bit more advanced, but I hope you'll understand and I hope it helps you out a lot. It's actually okay to eat the foods that you love. In fact, I encourage you to do this. If you're going to lose weight and keep it off, then what you want to do is you want to also build good habits. You want to build good habits so that you don't do that all the time. You don't want to be eating your favorite foods all the time, because right now that's the problem. You are doing it all the time. You're currently the type of person who binges at night, eats all the bad foods, and in massive excess. So you need to find balance, because it's impossible. So what you need to do is you need to find balance, because it's impossible to always avoid the foods you love. And to be honest, you also just need to live life. But at the same time, you're trying to become a new person, build new habits, because otherwise you won't be able to keep the weight off. Now, that doesn't mean that you can use that as a cope to eat like crap. Oh, Noah said you can eat a lot of donuts, and well, it's my favorite food, and I want to keep my weight off. So don't use that as a cope. You know what that means, and it means to have a treat every once in a while. Everybody understands the concept of moderation. So to bring it back to the letter U, unprocessed options. If you've been really, really good on your diet, then yeah, maybe it's okay to have the donut or maybe eat some fries. That's totally okay, especially if it's been a long time since you've strayed from your diet. However, instead of those, to come full circle, what you want to focus on is single ingredient foods or whole foods, fruits, vegetables, meats, cheeses, those types of things without a lot of additives. And the reason I say additives is not because the additives necessarily make you fat, but the kind of things with lots of additives in them tend to be the opposite of what we're looking for. They tend to be low protein, not very filling, and high in calories. So if you're at the gas station, maybe grab a protein shake, have some nuts, have some fruit, maybe some hard-boiled eggs, some pork rinds, eat some cheese, have a 0-calorie energy drink, not the sugary kind, or better yet, just literally have a black coffee. Or in a very good scenario, you treat yourself with whatever you want, and as long as it fits into your macros and your calories, then pretty much it's no harm, no foul, especially if it doesn't impact your desire to eat later on. So moving on to E in fuel. That stands for easy on the extras. This has the same general idea as U, but now think sauces and or sides or extra large drinks. Sauces, especially fatty ones or sugary ones, are really bad because they sneak in calories so easily. 2 tablespoons of mayo actually has 190 calories in it. That's almost 10% of a 2,000 calorie daily diet. And sugary drinks, extra large sodas set you back in your calories so easily. Especially when there's the diet version, why would you just get the regular version? And if it's because you think it tastes bad, that means that you're addicted to sugar. A lot of people either do or don't know this, but being addicted to sugar is a large problem, and that's why people can't lose weight, because they just love sugar so much. So what you want to do is you want to go for 0 sugar options way more often, or maybe even better, unsweetened options, depending on what you're getting, than the full sugar extra large drinks. Just drinking diet soda alone has helped me so much in my weight loss journey, and I still do it to this day because I created a habit. So I actually, when I was fat, I used to drink regular soda all the time. And then when I decided to start losing weight, I started to only drink diet soda. And then after I lost all the weight that I had wanted to lose, I started looking and feeling fantastic. I actually started to realize that I was still drinking diet soda all the time because it had become a habit for me. I was used to it. That's what I would normally grab. So that's just what I always grab. And now I still drink it to this day. I habitually choose low-fat sauces. I habitually choose sugar-free drinks. And I habitually avoid the extra snacks like gummy bears, worms, or like gummy worms and chips. So avoid the extras, no pumps of sugar in your coffee, and nothing like that. Focus on clean ingredients, but remember, even healthy foods can be high in calories. 1 teaspoon of chia seeds actually has 138 calories in it, but it's considered a health food by many people. So you want to be very careful when choosing ingredients like this, because they can still have a lot of calories in them. So keep that in mind, especially when you're cooking at home. Oils and fats, the calories can really rack up super easily, especially in things like fruit juices too. All of those calories add up super quickly without you even realizing it, and they don't really contribute to you feeling full at all. So the last letter in the FUEL acronym, we had focus on protein, unprocessed options, easy on the extras, and now we're at L, which stands for look ahead. A quote by, I think it's Louis Pasteur, I don't know how to say that name. What he said was, fortune favors the prepared mind. If you aren't actively looking for something, you won't find it. That's not how the brain works. So right now, what you're doing is you're thinking with your stomach. You're thinking with your stomach and with your taste buds instead of with your brain. Your brain tells you, no, 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 you're trying to lose weight. No, don't grab that food while you're out shopping at Costco. But your stomach and your taste buds tell you, but it would taste really good. Again, you have to think, will this bring me closer or further away from my goals when you're out shopping and just when you're out and about? So before you go to the restaurant or the convenience store, look ahead and think, okay, what am I going to get here? Especially if you've been there before, you already know what you probably want to get or what's a good option there. Being in a rush sucks, but if you can plan ahead, it makes it way easier. You also won't need to worry about the rush because you'll know, okay, Noah said that this food was good here. Or if you're at Quick Trip, you know, okay, this place has this type of food or has this protein shake I really like. So I'll grab this from here. And that's actually another thing to think about. That's another tip. Don't have trash food in your home. What do you think is going to happen? Do you really think that by having trash food around your house, it's just going to be easy to stay on your diet? Absolutely not. So don't have trash food around your home. I see so many people saying, oh, I don't know why I can't lose weight, but you have your pantry stocked with Oreos and Doritos. The human brain wants to do what's easiest. So make it easy on your brain to pick the healthy options. Okay, so now moving on to number 3, we have this tip. We've covered a lot of diet advice so far, and I have to tell you the truth, the majority of weight loss is actually the diet. A lot of people, the reason they don't lose weight is they're like, I don't have enough time for training, or I can't do enough cardio, or I do so much cardio, but I can't seem to lose weight. But the problem is mostly with their diet. Dieting is 90% of it. But if you want to keep or even build muscle while you're losing weight, then this next tip is for you. So listen up. You probably want to build bigger muscles. You want to have bigger arms. You want to have more shredded abs. So what you want to do is you want to do your exercise early in the morning. You have to create time for it, okay? Enough saying, oh, I don't have time. Just wake up a little bit earlier, go to bed a little bit earlier, find a way and create the time. And all you have to do is train for 20 minutes. Most people don't have any willpower when they come home from work either. I certainly don't. I almost never feel like training, or when I do train after work, I feel super tired and exhausted, and it just doesn't really work for me. So that's why training in the morning tends to be better. How can you have an effective workout in only 20 minutes? Well, for the most part, we're probably not going to be going to the gym because we want to keep it as brief as possible, and driving to the gym is not very efficient with our time. So what we want to do is we want to do a home workout. And the way we can make our home workout super efficient is by focusing on these 3 things. The first thing is doing compound movements, okay? So what compound movements are, there are movements that involve multiple muscle groups. So for example, a push-up would be a compound movement because it involves your chest, your front shoulder, your side shoulder even, and your triceps as well. So that's an example of a compound movement. You want to do a lot of those because it gives you more bang for your buck. The second thing you can do is you can use intensity techniques. So you might be wondering, what's an intensity technique? Essentially, what it is it's a way to bump up the intensity of your training, make it harder without actually doing much more. So an example of that might be a drop set. And what a drop set is you do your exercise, you go really, really hard, almost as hard as you can, doing that final rep. And then what you want to do is drop down to a lower weight right away. Most intensity techniques are actually dropping your rest time. So you want to go down to a lower weight and then keep going until you can't do one more rep, put it down and go to a lower weight again. Do that again about 3 times. So that's an example of a drop set, or you can do what's called a superset. So what a superset is you do one exercise for one muscle group, and then immediately you go to another muscle group doing a different exercise because they aren't conflicting, they don't involve each other. So one example of this could be a bicep curl. You do a bicep curl with some bands, and then immediately afterwards, you go into an overhead tricep extension. That's a really great way to cut the time down in your exercise. And number 3 is shorter rest periods between exercises. It's actually a myth that you have to wait 1 to 5 minutes in between sets. Is it the most optimal for muscle growth? Yes, but we're trying to be efficient, not be the very best per se, right? So you don't have to wait long. It's not a big deal. You can just maybe wait a few seconds, rest a little bit, and then go right back into it. You don't have to do 20 rep exercises. Don't do ab circuits and do 100 reps. That's not time efficient at all. Instead, you actually want to go a little bit heavier and focus on things that are maybe 5 to 8 reps. That's going to be the fastest thing. I hope you found a ton of value in this video. I really tried to cram it into a brief video. I don't know how long it's going to end up being, but I hope you found a ton of value from this. If you like what you see, or maybe you want to hear more about my triple M method, I actually have all of this type of thing. I actually offer one-on-one personal coaching. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, and you're a father in your 30s through 50s, feel free to book a call. We can see if I can potentially help you or maybe not. So have a fantastic day, my friend, and keep training.